Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Opposite Field Outlook. I'm Jack. I'm joined by Andrew and Neil.
Yes, sir.
Today's episode, well, first of all, Andrew, how are you?
I'm doing absolutely phenomenal. I woke up. It feels like a Sunday, It's actually Monday. Thank the Lord for the presidents, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, happy to talk about baseball.
How about you?
That was fake as I've ever seen.
This is not a real production.
Yeah, I don't know what was that, but I'm doing pretty good. Just out here, ready for some baseball. Kind of tired. Ready to talk about something.
This is day 82 of the lockout, I think. I looked it up. It's something like day 82. Something like day 82 of the lockout.
Feels like day 1000.
Yeah. Baseball season isn't going to start on time.
That's for sure.
Even though Rob...
It's literally confirmed.
Rob says that it's going to. Rob says it's going to. It's definitely not. We're going to talk about power rankings before rosters come out.
Because we have nothing else to talk about.
Yeah, there's nothing else to do. I wanted to start this podcast. Now is the perfect time, even though we're in the lockout, because we all have time. So we're doing power rankings before free agents are decided, which makes a whole lot of sense. Okay, we're going to start with the West.
Most powerful one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have Giants winning the West, followed by the Padres, and then the Dodgers. And then Rockies and D-backs.
Okay.
That's
the
hottest
take.
I've
I think this is the hottest take in history.
That is the hottest take I've ever heard.
I think
that's
that
good.
The Dodgers are really gonna struggle because we're gonna see a universal DH. I mean, the owners agreed to that, right? And they just lost a bunch of people. So they need some pitchers. The Dodgers need some starting pitching, especially with Kershaw being injured like all the time. And I think that historically the Dodgers prioritize pitching, at least from what I've seen in the past couple of seasons. That's going to leave them without a DH, and potentially without a good solid shortstop. And I think the Padres could have a huge comeback season. We're talking about like the Rangers. Like they're going to still be terrible, right?
Okay.
The Rangers are still going to be terrible. I think it's like the Padres. They'll slowly build cohesion in their team, and they'll be a little bit better than the Dodgers. I don't think by much. And I think the Giants can just do it again. They're not losing that many players. They're losing like Posey, but I think.
All right.
Okay. What do you think about that?
I like that. That's different than the cutthroat. Yeah.
The LA Dodgers. I like the Dodgers' best team in baseball again.
I don't know.
Yep.
It's always predicted that Dodgers will be on top. And most of the time, at least in the past 8 years, it's always almost come true that they've been at least top 2, without a doubt. No question about it. So this would be kind of historical, like first time not being top 2 in the past 8 years.
Yeah.
Especially with the best roster we've seen them have in quite a while. So that's why it's a hot take. Because it would be very incredible for me to see that.
I think if they lose Kershaw to free agency, because Kershaw's going to free agency, I think that could be the final straw of their like little dynasty they have going. I mean, it's got to end at some point. I think we might be nearing the end. I mean, the Yankees, they would just win all the time, but no other team wins consistently year after year after year after year. So
like this team.
All right.
In terms of the Giants, I definitely see them winning.
Yeah.
Like being productive. There's no doubt about that. They've proven themselves, especially with those prospects.
True.
They've proven themselves to be, in my opinion, better than whatever the Padres have going on with their prospects. The Giants have just proven that they have prospects that are consistent. Yeah. That will just, they'll score and they'll give you runs. Whereas the Padres are just exciting. Yeah, they're not going to be consistent. They're a really exciting team. But there's not much going on there in terms of like player development. You know what I'm saying?
I think we could see a one-off season from them. I think we will see a one-off season from them where they're really good.
Okay.
Like
we will.
They were predicted to be really good this year. They were predicted to win the NL West by some metrics.
Yeah.
I think we could see that come true this season.
There's no doubt that they do better this next season,
especially if it's shortened. I think
because they fell off towards the bottom.
Yeah, you could say the same about the Dodgers too. In a shortened season, that's when the top teams usually perform.
We saw
But we
that
also get
happen.
teams like the Giants who
Or the Marlins.
or the Marlins or the
They made the
Mariners.
playoffs.
All those teams.
Mariners,
You know?
We
Yeah.
saw what a shortened season did,
Yeah.
especially with the
It's anyone's game.
I think it comes down to how short the season is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If it's
It won't.
if it's a 60 game season, Padres have a solid chance of winning in the West.
Very
I
true.
think.
I think it's just exciting with these three
Yeah.
at the top. Like, it's just gonna make for a great season for the next few years with how they're all
Yeah.
competing.
True.
Like, they all want to win. So it's just great competition. I can
Good
see any single one of
rivalries.
them
Yeah.
on top.
And then we have two teams that we haven't talked about yet. We have the Rockies and the D-backs.
We don't need to talk
No,
about
let's
that.
talk about them. Yeah.
Let's talk about the Rockies shortstop right now. He's leaving them. And wait,
Yeah,
Trevor
he's,
Story?
He's at the door.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So we see the Rockies, they're actively self-sabotaging. They
Mhm.
paid the Cardinals to take Nolan Arenado from them.
Yeah.
So I really don't see them being a contender at all.
They're definitely
And
trying to rebuild.
The
They have
D-backs,
talent, but it's not gonna.
the D-backs are rebuilding.
They question
They're
me
bad.
a little bit, especially with Rockies and D-backs teams where they'll completely tank and then they'll still go out sometimes and offer
Yeah.
like a big
Mad
contract
bum.
for no reason,
Exactly.
even though it's not what they need. I think they're just trying to make fans feel a little better by doing something exciting.
But they're not actually.
But they're not
rebuilding.
actually trying to win.
They're doing like half measures
Right.
where they think they're doing it, but it's
So
not.
it
And
sometimes confuses me.
they
but
don't,
There's
like,
no question that
help.
they're trying to tank right
Yeah.
now.
I think they're just trying to build their publicity.
Right.
a
I
little
think
bit.
they're trying
Yeah.
to make themselves
They're
still
collecting
relevant
passive
for a
income.
second.
The owners don't want to do anything with their team. They're trying to collect passive income.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which they can do because people will always be loyal to their teams, even if they are the Diamondbacks.
Yeah. Sadly.
Okay, we're moving on to NL Central. I think the Cardinals could be terrifying.
I can see that happening.
With their, 17-game win streak.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that they have real potential. This is going to be Waino's last season, yeah?
I think so.
22?
I think so.
Yeah.
So I could see him going on a nice little,
Is
Right into the
Molina
sunset.
still in there?
Yeah. He's still
Molina's going to be there.
last year. I think.
Probably towards.
And
the
they're
end
one of
his
the
career.
best battery pairs in baseball
Right.
right now.
Right. That
So,
duo.
especially since Waino's retiring, I can see him going on a little revenge tour, just
Yeah.
beating everyone that he wants to beat.
We'll see.
I don't know if he actually can, but I could see it happening. He's kind of old.
I can see the Cardinals
He's
doing
like
something.
40 something, I think.
He's,
But
yeah. He's like the.
That's yeah. They've been the same pitcher and catcher duo for about 20 years, and to see that amount of success is pretty insane.
It's ridiculous. So they'll be a contender, and their
Definitely.
defensive game is still going to be top tier.
Yeah.
And they didn't come close to winning their division, really, but
Mhm. They had a nice run at the
they had a really nice run at the end.
Right.
So I can
the only
see
thing
them
that stopped
kind
them was the Dodgers.
Yeah.
if they get into that
Yeah.
kind of momentum.
If they don't hit a
Steamroller.
106 win team,
Yeah.
if
they
they
definitely
if
make.
they don't bring in
If it's a
that
regular
last
wild card
closer-
game, they're gonna win.
Right.
If they don't bring in that
Yeah.
last closer,
Right,
they
yes.
win the
Come
wild
on.
card game.
Right. If they make some.
It was
scoring
like
decisions.
1-1 for the longest time.
Right. It was
Dodgers
only a
scored
home
away.
run at the
It was
end.
gonna happen.
It was only a home
Yeah.
run at the end.
Yeah.
Almost got the Dodgers.
So
And especially someone who's, in my opinion, is underrated at the moment is like Tyler O'Neill,
Yeah, he's good.
who
Yeah.
goes off offensively. Like, I think he won a Gold Glove last year. Like
That team had I don't know,
Super talented
5 Gold Gloves
in many
or something.
ways.
Like that team was really stacked.
and the man's yoked, so
Yeah.
he can definitely crush it.
Mhm.
So
if they start to get their momentum earlier in the season, like they go on a 17-game win streak, like
They'll-
right
they'll be
off the
nice,
bat,
right.
I
Yeah.
think they will
Definitely.
easily win the Central
Mhm.
if they keep that kind of momentum going.
Yeah.
And then the Brewers, the impression that I get from them is that they're kind of mediocre come season end or playoffs.
Yeah.
they can't seem to clutch
I
up.
think
Green Bay Packers of baseball, man.
Yeah,
maybe.
same area. So maybe
I
they're the
think-
same team.
Yeah, I get the same vibe where they're consistent and then they just can't clutch up.
Yeah.
And then the big question mark is Christian Yelich. What is even going on there? He's
I
like
don't know.
He's good.
It's
No,
been a
it's a
3-year
mystery.
question mark and
Yeah.
no one knows what's happening. So
I think this is the year he bounces back. He had a
He
good
could.
season. It was 2019. He was in the race for the MVP, and I think 2020 that kind of messed up everyone's vibes. You
Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
the Rays winning or winning the AL,
I
which they're a
could
good
see the
team.
Rays winning the
But
AL.
yeah,
again.
it's like I don't know, not
He's turning
really
it around.
expected. But I think this is a year that their hitters turn around. I think they have a good core of Arcia, Colton Wong, Christian Yelich, and their pitching. That pitching is stacked. Okay?
Their pitching is stacked.
It's I think
it is
like
quite stacked.
these two teams, they're gonna go on like a crazy run at the very end. I think it could be anyone's game.
I don't know if we'll see the Brewers go on a crazy run at the end, but I think
True.
we'll see
Yeah.
like a consistent,
Yeah.
pretty
Back and
pretty
forth, back and
winning.
forth.
And then they
Nice
have,
tug of war.
in my
Yeah.
opinion, the best closer, at
Yeah.
least in the NL.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Dodgers won bad.
Yeah, they're down bad.
We
for,
were even trying to get
for
them.
Josh Hader.
Yep.
Not gonna lie. But yeah, they're pretty impressive, and I like what they're doing. And I don't know, we can see if they keep it up.
Yeah.
Going back to the Dodgers, because I forgot to mention this, is Bellinger going to be good? He's a
That is
huge question
such
mark
a
for the
question
Dodgers.
That's
In my opinion,
If he brings back his game, if I see him doing significantly well at the beginning of the season, I will move the Dodgers up.
Right.
my ranking.
Yeah.
it's funny how the NL MVP race in 2019 was so strong, and now both those players
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
absolutely
They kind of
crap
fell off.
now.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I was believing in odd year Belly, where his odd years were god tier, and then that kind of did not come true this year. I can see him coming back because he definitely was getting momentum
Yeah.
towards the end of the
towards the end.
season, especially with that go-ahead run against the
Mhm.
Giants.
And he still walked,
Last
even
game.
though he was
Right,
striking out.
he figured
he
it
walked
out.
a lot.
He was figuring it out towards
Yeah.
the end. Sadly, it was at the end. But
Yeah.
he's just been very injury-ridden, especially with that shoulder, and I think after a year of adjustment, he can finally come back after he's fully healthy.
That's what a lot of fans are saying.
I
it's
can
just
see him coming
the
back.
surgery, like you have guys like Adrian Gonzalez. He was a staple in the Dodgers organization for like 8 or 9 years, and then he had that same injury, and then he has like an all-star season the year after. So
Right.
I think it's just the injury because in baseball you're using your shoulder a lot, so it's just stuff like that.
Yeah, I can see Belly bouncing
He better,
back.
or else
I
Dodgers
just- I
fans are gonna
hate-
riot. Okay.
I hate the hitting adjustments that he makes when
Oh
he doesn't
yeah.
need to.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, who adjusts after a
You had an
2019
MVP.
MVP season? You don't need to
Stick
adjust.
with what you got. All right.
I get the need
Yeah.
for wanting to do better, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when it ain't broke, you don't fix it.
Yeah.
So I
Definitely.
don't know. I just want him to get consistent and just stay with what he's got. You know, Justin Turner kind of vibes. Like if it's consistent, then just keep it up
Yeah.
and just be
I ain't
reliable.
broke, don't fix it.
I just want that.
Yep.
So I
Uh,
think he can bounce back.
Back to the Central, the Reds, they're consistently pretty
Yeah.
mediocre.
Average.
Mhm.
And
They're the
don't-
definition of average.
They
If you look
haven't-
it up, that they're average. They're
Yeah.
the definition.
They haven't made any huge moves that I can see them. I can't see them making any huge moves
Mhm.
this offseason, during spring training or whatever, to make them a contender.
Yeah, I don't see them picking up
Yeah.
Castellanos at all. In fact, I think he's a great fit for San Diego, especially with the DH
That's
coming.
scary.
With the DH
That
coming,
is
I can
scary.
see them picking.
Oh
him up.
my!
That's-
If
Like,
that
he'd be a
happens,
perfect
they have a
fit in my
chance
mind.
like to go super
He's
fast.
he's a
That's
guy who
terrifying.
plays with some fiery energy.
I was
which is
thinking
exactly
the
what San
Padres
Diego-
would take off with the
Right.
DH. That's
So, assuming that he's not going to stay with the Reds,
Mhm.
and I mean they keep saying that they're not going to trade any pitching,
Yeah.
Sangre, all that, but I don't know if they start tanking first half, they're definitely going to consider trading those.
I
people.
think Cincinnati is a good baseball town, but let's be real. Who wants to sign with Cincinnati? I'm just gonna like they
Dude.
had a good like culture.
anyone would sign
But
with
yeah.
the Reds if they paid them money.
Yeah.
Right. They're good enough for.
I just
as a
don't
team
feel like they
for
have
someone
like
to
the
go.
resources like right now. Like their
Yeah.
team, like they have like this solid season. I think they made the playoffs, but they didn't get like one run in that little 2020 run.
Nope.
Like that's like if you like get like a couple wins in that one, like you have a culture to build and you keep like building up. You're like the Padres, like they had a couple down seasons and they have a couple up seasons and people want to sign them.
Right, they built up.
So
on
I just feel like they kind of took a step backwards,
that.
but
They're definitely taking a step next year.
definitely. Yeah.
I don't see them absolutely
Mhm.
trashing like a Pirates or something.
Yeah,
like
they're
that,
not.
but-
They're not tanking. yet.
Right, they're gonna do worse, but
They'll be in the
won't
wild
be that
card
bad.
consideration, definitely.
yeah, I can consider them in the
Yeah.
wild card, making a wild card push.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Cubs.
That is such a big.
yeah.
question. I think they're the biggest question mark on this for me, just because I have no clue what they're trying to do, what's going
Yeah.
on,
I think
and what the future looks
they're
like.
still in the middle of their rebuild, right? So
Yeah.
They just
They
basically just
sold
commenced
everything.
the
They had a
rebuild.
yard sale, and then they signed this guy like Marcus Stroman, who's like a good
Yeah,
pitcher.
yeah, yeah.
Like, how does that happen?
I don't get
you,
teams-
You pay this guy all this money just for them to what? Like, get a few more wins?
Right.
That's like the Rockies
I don't
last
get
year.
teams.
Like,
that
they didn't sell at
I'm
the
pretty
deadline for
sure
that.
this all comes from, because I heard that when the giant yard sale occurred,
Yeah.
that the owner was saying his motive was wanting to prove that he can still win a championship without the
Yeah.
building off the backs of what was already established at this team.
It's kind of stupid. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
you want to win a championship.
So
if you're the
keep
Cubs.
the good players.
Just you don't want to
tear it
go
all
another
down.
108 years without winning
Right.
a championship.
He's trying. I guess he's trying to be.
It's looking like that right now.
He's trying to be original, and I don't know what exactly his idea is.
Maybe
but
it'll
yeah.
work.
You know.
I'm currently taking that approach with my retro bowl team. I sold. So,
Yeah.
maybe.
I don't know. I see the Cubs becoming a pirate situation where they just tank because they have nothing.
Yeah.
They would have to go on a crazy first half run for me to consider them a wild card, and then
Yeah.
like start buying
Yeah.
in the trade deadlines.
I don't even think their prospects are even that good. Like, they have a few guys, but, like, other than that.
Yeah.
I think they still have, like, I don't know, like, Kyle Hendricks is on the team. He's a solid.
It was funny when that
But,
trade
yeah.
deadline day hit, and then they all come back,
All
and
the
the
Cubs
AAA
fans,
team
yeah.
just arrives. I'm
Yeah.
like, who are you people?
I
'Cause
saw,
no one had
yeah, I
clue
saw a
who they
picture. It was
were.
like Rizzo, like Bryant, and like all those guys. Like they're like, where'd they go?
So
Come on, yeah.
yeah, I don't know with the Cubs. I can see
Mhm.
them. I see like a 5% chance of them making a wild card and actually getting a push because they would have
That's
to
generous.
they would have to have
Yeah.
a crazy first half run for them
Yeah.
to even consider that.
I was looking at forums, baseball forums, just to see what some fans were thinking, and the Cubs fans are thinking, like, wouldn't it be crazy if we got Rizzo back? And
Yeah.
it's just
Good
not
luck
gonna
with that.
happen. So I think for now they're stuck with the rebuild, and they're not
Yeah,
gonna
they're
be a
definitely-
contender. The Pirates are garbage.
There's nothing to talk about there.
They have no prospects coming up that are great. They
The
have,
Dodgers AA team is better than the Pirates.
Yeah, they don't have any
For real.
crazy trade leverage to make.
They
Yeah,
have
they're gonna be
O'Brien,
awful.
and that's it. That's all they have.
Let's talk about the Braves. Is Freddie Freeman coming back?
That's an exciting question.
Okay. Here's my theory. I read something where it said he was having trouble with the front office. He
I heard that
he
he's
should
frustrated
resign with the Braves, but I don't know. Anything can happen because normally coming off a championship, you'd sign with a team that you've been with for like 12 years, you know. But I don't know. I feel like there's a tiny little part of me where I think he signs like a short-term deal with a great team. Like I said, he's going to the Yankees. Okay.
Wow,
They
that's
don't-
a
they
take.
do
right
not
there.
have-
That is a take
Their
right
their first baseman is Luke Voigt. He's not very great.
No,
They
I
need-
can see them getting.
They
rid of
need
Voit
a strong first
if they
baseman,
wanna get-
and he could resign with them for small money and go to the Yankees and potentially win a couple more rings.
with
Yeah.
the Yankees. I don't.
Yeah.
I definitely see him as a
They
ring
just-
chaser, but
Yeah.
more of like a Scherzer
He's-
type where
no,
he actually wants
yeah.
to go to a good team
Yeah.
and win rings, not like just kind of throw
Scherzer went
out
to
a
the
chance.
Mets.
Huh?
Scherzer went to the Mets.
Right, which is a big competitive team.
I feel like the Mets always have this tendency to go strong and then they
Have you
drop
seen what
down.
they did in the offseason? Starling Marte, like they're a
I don't know.
stacked team.
They
They
are
were a
stacked.
stacked team last season.
Yeah.
too.
Right, and that doesn't pan out. But you can still
That-
see
that
like
could-
what the Padres
that
were a
could
stacked
happen
team.
the same
Doesn't
thing.
pan out last year. You can still see them winning big next year. Same with the Mets. They had a stacked team, didn't work out. They
That's
improved it. You can still see them now improving.
All
better
these
this year.
flashing like
Like just because they had a
like
fluke
lights and
doesn't mean
stuff.
it's gonna not work next
Yeah.
time. You know,
That's true.
especially with Francisco Lindor being a question mark right now. But
He's
different subject.
I have the Braves winning the
Mhm.
East.
I could see the Braves winning.
Yeah.
The East. They're just so talented in so many ways.
They're
That's-
defending champs. You gotta
Freed.
put it up there.
Freed's curveball is literally the same as Kershaw's.
Yeah.
Gotta throw that out. But
Their farm system is still crazy though.
they're
They
literally fleecing so many players.
like not even like
Couldn't
5
make
years ago.
nothing.
Yeah. They were crazy.
It's so funny.
Mhm.
I don't know. They need new agents, but they're literally fleecing everyone. But maybe they're trying to fleece Freeman and it's not working, and they're realizing they actually have to pay money, and
Yeah.
that's the issue right now. Because the Braves have literally fleeced everyone, and maybe that strategy is just not working for someone like Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
I could see them pay a big time for Freddie.
I can see them paying.
For
I
this
see him
maybe
going.
They better.
1 year contract.
I can see him going to Atlanta just because
He's
it's
a
like-
loyal guy.
It's an origin
You
story,
know?
you know. You
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
ditch on the team. Which is we also glanced over Kershaw, but I also see him coming back to LA because it's an origin story. You can't-
Kershaw's coming back to LA.
There's no doubt about that.
I think he might cause an issue for LA if he wants big money.
He's also
Right.
like 33 coming off an injury. I don't think he's He's worth a lot, but I don't think he's worth a lot right now.
He
Definitely not worth.
he has the
over 30
reputation.
million.
Yeah,
to-
he's done his.
He's done with his
due
big
diligence.
contracts,
But
like
yeah.
big.
I think he has the
crazy
reputation where he could get a huge contract from a team on a 1-year
Mhm.
deal.
He
I
could,
think
Yeah.
I think he could go to the Mets and they pay him like
That's
$3 billion.
why-
Yeah.
We
The-
saw
not,
that
happen. Yeah.
Not the
We've
Mets,
seen
but
it
a
happen.
Mets-ish
Yeah.
team. I mean, we saw it with Scherzer. Like Scherzer's old. He's still pretty good, but he's old.
Aging like fine
He's
wine.
aging.
The thing is,
Still
he
keeps
didn't
going.
have really an attachment to a team because he's
Yeah.
been tossed around forever. So it really kind of just was, where do you feel like pitching? With Kershaw and Freeman, it's almost like you choose between, satisfying
does he
your
want
prophecy.
the bag,
Team
or
that
does
works.
he want to be
Yeah.
the Dodgers?
Yeah.
Do you want to
savior?
fulfill the legacy, or do you want a
Yeah.
bigger bag? That's
Definitely.
really the question, which is something Scherzer didn't really have to consider too much.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's a different question for Kershaw or Scherzer.
The rest
Kershaw
of these
has some
teams in the East, I have no idea what's going on with them at all.
Other than Mets and
Yeah,
Braves,
the-
like those are
the
top two,
Mets
but
and
everyone
Braves,
else,
they're gonna be
I
back
have
and
Mets.
forth.
I have Mets low. I don't
The
low.
4?
How
Yeah.
the?
So I don't see them having the.
Just gotta read this real quick.
Make
So
sure
they-
my
they've
eyes
got
Oh,
are-
Syndergaard, yeah, true.
They lost
I forgot about
Syndergaard,
that.
which is
True.
fine. They kind of replaced
The
him.
thing
with
is, they
Scherzer.
never had him,
Yeah.
so that's why I'm not considering him
Yeah.
in this.
He wasn't
'cause
really a player.
he never was
just
there.
kind of
So
was there.
the Scherzer deal could be huge for the Mets because it kind of replaces Syndergaard, and
Mhm.
Syndergaard wasn't. He just
it's
took
more
up
of an
a
addition
spot.
than a replacement. 'Cause
Yeah.
he never was there. It's like
In
getting
a
a player
way,
that
it's-
actually will play
Yeah.
Yeah.
instead of a player that just sits there
Well,
and takes up one of your spots.
He only
yeah,
got hurt
exactly.
at the very end, though.
Syndergaard sits there and does nothing, but he takes up a spot.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
he takes up a lot of money.
Right, he's
like
talented, but
15
he
million,
was
I
injured.
think.
So
Yeah.
they're replacing him with a player that shows up to games sometimes.
and is a first ballot
Yeah.
Hall of Famer.
And has a few Cy Youngs.
That as well.
But I don't. Their middle infield is fine. They're below average with runners in scoring position. The Mets.
Right, it's the production.
So, the big question is, will they be able to? Overall, their offense is crazy.
Yeah.
They get like 20 hits a game, but they get like 2 hits an inning, and they're like
Mhm.
singles. So you have like runners on the corners, and then the
It
next.
was crazy
the
how
next
they were
three strike out.
producing with like Baez,
Yeah,
Lindor, like
The issue
stacked
is-
How does
players
that
just
even
coming up
happen?
and then nothing
Yeah.
happens. Pete
All of
Alonso.
those
Those, like,
players
big
hit.
name guys.
they had huge slugging numbers, but they just couldn't get it done when it mattered, when they were running runners in scoring position and such. And I don't know, with most of the same roster, I don't think that they will be able to step up and be able to produce when there are runners in scoring position. I think that they will continue to be a crazy offense, but just not be able to put the runs up. That's
I
my
don't know.
philosophy for putting them 4.
Right, you think they'll just stay consistent?
I think-
with that issue.
I also think their new owner, Steve Cohen, I think he's actually like, last year is an
He's a ring
anomaly,
chaser, man.
but this year I think he's actually gonna make a few smart moves, like the Wilpon family. That was that was a yard
the
sale. That was an
Scherzer,
awful
the Scherzer signing was
regime.
a statement.
Yeah, that was a
by him.
statement.
Yeah, that
he's
was-
like, we're gonna change
I
it. and
want
it's gonna
this
be for
ring.
real. Yeah.
Last season made
Yeah.
me so mad.
Yeah.
That
Now
I'm literally gonna
yeah.
buy everyone I can in this free agency. So I think it was a statement saying,
Yeah.
I don't care what it takes, I have the money and I'm gonna win, you know?
Mhm.
So
The
that's why I
Dodgers
have them
approach.
high, because I think,
Yeah.
I mean, I know free agency is literally canceled right now, but even when it resumes, I
Still
can
some
still
guys
see
on
him
there,
sign.
yeah.
I can see him.
I can
making some
still
moves.
see him pursuing
Mhm.
people.
If
even
he
though
makes
it's
the
team
right
stacked.
moves, I think if he makes the right moves for the middle infield and maybe some crazy outfielders,
Scary.
the Mets could be
You have
really
Starling
scary.
Marte.
But
Yeah.
with their current
Nimmo,
roster, I
like-
don't see them like stepping up their game and being crazy good. What about Robinson Cano? He was suspended all of this season, and he's back.
He'll come back.
Yeah.
He will be back with the Mets.
Isn't
will
he like
be
40?
good? He's old.
He's probably back on roids right now.
Dude.
They're not checking.
Yeah, he's definitely back on roids.
He's definitely taking some.
He's definitely taking something right
Yeah.
now. He's on the juice. Hypothetically he's not on the juice.
Okay, hypothetically.
Hypothetically he's not on the juice right now. Will he be good?
No. He's 39 years old.
I can't
Because
see him
Coming,
being
he
good.
hasn't
I
played.
can't see
I
him
don't think
being
he's
good.
played baseball like in like a year or so.
No, it's been like a year
Yeah.
and a half.
He's been in some like other leagues, literally just like
So
doing
yeah.
nothing.
it's gonna take a miracle for him to be like
Yeah.
anywhere near
I
his
think the
all-star.
only reason he's been pretty good is because he's been on performance-enhancing drugs, and then they got him, and now he is not going to be a top-tier baseball player ever again.
Weren't they not testing like steroids? I think. Or
They
like
can't.
the deal ended.
They're no longer
They
testing
can't right now.
Yeah.
The teams
why he's juicing
cannot.
right now.
He
the
was
teams
trying,
cannot
bro, yeah.
interact right now.
He's
So,
juicing right now.
yeah,
as we
he's.
speak.
Yeah.
So yeah, literally, almost can confirm that nothing's gonna happen. with him.
Mm-hmm.
And the Nationals are going to be terrible. They are currently talking to Juan Soto about a contract.
Yep.
Like a clown track.
Juan
Clown
Soto is
track,
not-
that's a good word.
More like a clown track.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not looking to sign a 13-year, $2 deal. So, the Mets are gonna have to pay him if they want to keep him around when he goes to free agency in 26. Whenever he's going to free agency.
Sounds about right.
Uh,
I don't know. They got some good prospects out of the Scherzer.
Dodgers.
I would love to
deal,
see
but
them.
That'd be
It's
cool.
not gonna fix anything.
But yeah.
I'd love to see them be a World Series contender before they lose Juan Soto. Because when they lose Juan Soto, it's all
over.
It's over
It's
for
I
them.
would
done.
love to see
They gotta
those Dodger
step.
prospects.
Yeah, they have to step it up now. Otherwise, by 26, if that's
Good
when
luck.
he goes to free agency, they are
They're done.
screwed.
They lost.
Yeah, they're
He's
done.
one of the best hitters. I'd say he's the best hitter.
He's the best hitter in the
this
MLB
era.
right
In
now.
this
I
era.
I think he's better than Tatis.
He is.
personally.
Hitter?
Yeah.
I don't
No
know
doubt.
if he's
He's a better hitter.
Yeah.
He's the
Better
best
hitter.
He's
I think Tatis
in
has
the entire
a
league.
little bit better defense, so I think it's a little bit tighter.
I have him on pace to be
But
the
yeah.
best hitter in there.
I think
He's
he's not
only
the best
23
power
too.
hitter,
Right.
but he has the best discipline. He walks the most.
Yeah, he gets
so
on
he's-
base.
Mhm.
He'll hit for power. He'll hit anything you want.
He's the best all around. Tatis is more powerful from what I've seen, but
Right, he's more exciting. That's the
Yeah.
entire Padres mentality.
yeah,
True.
If you can score
wins
some
them
runs.
fans.
Hmm?
They win some fans, so they're making their money.
Right, I've been
Yeah.
to a game. Although they did get destroyed, but it was
Yeah.
fun. It was the only time they kind of lost in that kind of week that I was watching. But
That's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's pretty
I
wet.
think they got smoked 1-12 or
Oh
something.
my god.
Yeah.
We laughed after a while because it was getting painful. But they're an exciting team, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
The freaking Tatis comes up and a video of him flipping his hair, and his black silhouette plays. It's not just Tatis.
Come
They're
on,
literally
bro.
hyping these players
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Beyond.
They're the
It's like a
Clippers
show.
of the MLB.
Exactly.
They got all these names, but you gotta win some games
Yeah,
to
exactly.
get
You
there.
I think they have the potential to put the games up. If
Right,
they
can do it.
They better.
yeah.
They understand fundamentals.
Might be the
especially
Chargers of the
Machado.
MLB.
The Chargers of the
They
MLB.
might leave.
That's
They won't leave, but
The Chargers
Yeah.
of the MLB. Can you imagine if they moved to LA? That
oh
would
my,
be so
oh my
unfortunate.
gosh.
Oh!
Oh no!
Oh!
We're back from our lighting delay.
Lightning delay.
Lightning delay, and I think it is time for us to move past divisional rankings to overall rankings.
Ooh.
I did not do top 10. I did top 6 because
just give my
I'm
top
a
6.
clown. Number 1, Giants. They did it last year. I think they can do it again.
Okay.
I wouldn't put it past them to do it again.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I just don't think it will.
I disagree with this now. This is kind of a stupid.
Nah.
I put Cardinals there
That is
in
really dumb.
second place. That is the stupidest
That's
decision
true.
I've
Just
ever
say
I'm
it
just
to
gonna
his
be
face.
honest, man.
That's one of the stupidest
that's a
decisions
bad
I've ever
pick,
put.
man. That's like saying the A's are gonna be second place star ranking for the AL.
Yeah. Well, I have them to win the division, so the NL Central.
yeah.
Cardinals, yes, but
Maybe.
Okay, then Padres, Dodgers, probably, and then Cards, Brewers, Braves.
Imagine the Padres and the Dodgers in the wild card.
I think the
That's
wild card
crazy.
contention's gonna
That'd
be
be
hot.
fun.
I think
That would be fun.
I get the feeling that both wild card teams are gonna come from the West. That's just the
Yeah, it's a 3-team
Right,
vibe that
race.
I-
right.
Yeah.
Because one of them's gonna have to be the top one. The other two are also going to be
It
very
would,
competitive.
I can
It would
see
take-
the Brewers getting it too.
Yeah.
Or the Cardinals.
it would take a
I
San
can see that.
Diego collapse for
Which happened.
one of those three,
Another
yeah,
one-
which
another
happened.
San Diego
but
collapse.
It would take one of those 3 teams to have one of those
Manny Machado,
for
Christian
them to be out.
Tatis in the
So,
doghouse.
it would take a lot.
I think if Tatis is a little more matured to the point where Manny Machado is not screaming at him in the dugout during a game,
Yeah.
that will be their
I think
big factor. if their
Machado
players
is
can-
definitely adapting a kind of
Yeah, he's the vet now.
the
He's
vet in this kind
Uh-huh.
of area. Although he's very He's made some dumb decisions in the past with his play, but like I think he's kind of maturing to where he realizes like the positions he's in and what he's being paid to do. So
Yeah.
I like that mentality because the Padres are exciting. They're also very young, so they need someone like Machado to kind of step up and mentor. So I mean, for me, I'm just gonna top 6 to match you. Call me biased, but Dodgers number 1.
Okay.
It's just a stacked team. Like, what can
Yeah.
you say a position or a need?
They're
There's
top
no
3,
need. Doesn't
easily.
exist. Pitching. Other than that, there's no need at all.
They're definitely top.
They
three.
fulfill everything you could ever want
Mhm.
in a baseball team.
The only
They're
thing they're
literally
lacking
perfect.
is closer, and maybe they'll struggle with.
Bruce
middle
Dog
infield.
Gratterall, okay?
We have a closer.
Heat,
Just
alright?
take one of the relievers
Yes.
and make them a closer.
Their farm
Like,
system,
I can think
they'll
of
find
3
someone.
people that could fulfill
Yeah.
that closer role. So like,
Yeah.
it's just a need of like
Will
another
they sign
bullpen
someone?
arm. They'll definitely sign
Yeah.
like at least one bullpen arm. Will it be a good one? I don't know. They love signing kind of
They
trading for
yeah.
people that literally have no name, and then they somehow become
Yeah, Jace
Yeah, they're
McGee,
crazy.
okay? Look at this
exactly.
guy,
Jake
bro.
McGee.
Yeah.
We gave him money because we gave
Yeah.
him a chance and gave him a season, and now he's making money with the Giants.
And then the very next year, he stabs us on the back, and he had a great season with
Literally.
the Giants.
So we can
anything can
transform
happen.
players.
Yeah.
Like, revitalize their careers.
So
That's pretty
yeah,
crazy.
we're definitely gonna get some reliever, whether or not they're well known and everyone's excited for him, or some rando that we found off the streets.
Yeah.
I
They'll
get
be
the
pretty
feeling
good.
it's gonna be some random.
It's definitely gonna be, but I'm okay with that. I'm really high on the Mets.
You're
Me too.
really.
I'm
like
really
the
high on the
Mets.
Mets just because I mean I know what Starling Marte can do after seeing a season from him, and it's not like they're done. It's not like anything's gonna stop. They're still going to buy everyone
Yeah.
on the market.
Yep.
Whereas the Braves, I know they're not gonna buy anyone. They're just gonna keep what they have, which is really good. It's a really talented team. But I
Mhm.
know it's going to stay like that, other than like Freddie Freeman. That's
Yeah.
all they're gonna get.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a need, like a severe need for anything.
Their best player got injured, and they still won the World Series.
Right.
They were like mediocre at like I think the trade deadline. Or
They don't
something.
spend money.
And
Ozzy
then
Albies
they
is making
won.
like $5
Yeah.
mil to be like an all-star at second base. Like
That's unbelievable.
They're-
it's crazy
yeah.
how they fleece people, but they don't like
Yeah.
spending money.
And their best
Freddie
pitchers,
Freeman might be the exception. But
they have an insane farm system. Their best pitchers are
Right.
still
So-
like, developing.
I know everyone loves to call the World Series winner the literally best team next
Mhm.
year, but like it's
Not
a
always
matter
the
of
case.
fact that
Yeah.
Braves are number 3 in my opinion.
I don't. They're
And they're not number 1 right now just because
they're definitely not number one.
just
They weren't
because-
number one last year.
Yeah.
Right.
They just had a really nice playoff run.
National-
It's not.
yeah,
It wasn't
they-
even
Nationals
lucky.
not broad.
They had.
But yeah.
They had a really nice playoff run. It wasn't lucky. It was just clean. They played good
Mhm.
baseball, but they also won 88 games during the regular season.
Right. I mean,
so,
it just kind of happened to be in their favor with everyone just kind of coming up and, you know,
Right place,
producing.
right time.
yeah,
exactly. Soler coming out of injury and just kind of stepping up. Like everything just kind of worked for them.
hitting a home run in the first at bat of the World Series.
Like literally, everything just kind of worked
ridiculous.
for them. So, see Mets coming in 2. Braves obviously 3. They're a good team. They deserve number 3. Giants, I don't know. I see them 4 only because it's just it's hard to. I literally was waiting for the day when the Giants would stop just
Yeah.
being good for no
Yep.
reason, and that never came.
Never happened.
Maybe
That's-
I think I'm still waiting for it. And I'm like, okay, it'll be next season. Don't
Yeah.
worry, they'll finally fall off.
See,
But
I've been disillusioned. I've looked into the eyes of the Giants players, and I have foreseen that they will never fall from grace. You guys are
It
preying on their
confused me.
downfall. You see them collapsing, and I see them
It
not
kinda,
never collapsing. The Giants will win forever. They will be first place in the
I
National League
don't
for
know.
the
I
next
see
20
them
years.
losing their catcher, losing.
Buster Posey,
They lost
all
Gosman.
time great.
They lost Gosman too. He was good.
Right.
Yeah.
Lost Gosman.
Regular season.
Belt still in free agency.
Yeah.
I don't know. Those are big producers.
They
Like,
still have time
that
to
would
make
Also-
moves too.
Right. They still have. I think they did make some moves in free
Yeah.
agency.
Think
that
about it
was
this
big.
way. They had one, like, those guys all had down seasons the previous, like, 4 or 5 years. This one season, they go back to their all-star form.
Right.
That, sure, you can say it's good, but I don't think it's sustainable. These guys are
Exactly.
all, like, on the later end of their
It's
career.
like some Lakers mentality where we're just gonna
Yeah.
get all the old people and then
Superstar
hope
team.
that they just
yeah.
do
like-
well, and
like
it's
12
not gonna
years ago.
last long.
Okay, yeah.
I see it lasting one more season.
I can see it at
That's-
most lasting.
yeah.
season.
I see it lasting
I'll still be in
one
doubt,
season.
but
Yeah.
I can see it happening. I don't know. I'm taking them at number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely Padres up there. They're a good team with 5, and then Brewers deserve a spot at number 6. They
Do we
definitely
all
top
have the
6.
same top 6?
I have a different top
You
six.
got Phillies?
You have
Yeah.
Phillies in there. In
Listen.
place of who? Who are you
Okay,
replacing?
explain.
Giants are
Okay.
out of the top six.
Giants are out of the
Okay.
top
Dang,
six.
okay.
Hey.
I wasn't
Okay.
that aggressive with
All
that.
Here's my reasoning.
Explanation.
Okay, I got Dodgers 1, Braves 2, Mets 3, Brewers 4, Padres 5, and
all
Phillies
realistic.
I'm on
6.
board with that.
I
think- okay. I'm gonna use my argument. I think these guys, they had a great season last year. I don't think it's gonna be sustainable. I feel like they're gonna have a few injuries, which they won't be able to recover from. They'll still make the playoffs, but I think the Phillies are just overall stronger. They have MVP and Bryce Harper. They also
Okay.
have their pitching rotation. They have Kyle Gibson. They have Zach Wheeler. That pitching rotation is kind of stacked. They also have
Okay.
a pretty strong team overall. I just feel like it could be really tight, but I just feel like the Phillies are just a little bit better, and Bryce Harper's still like in his mid-30s. He's still in his prime. And
I mean-
I don't think the Giants really have that one big bat guy, you know? I feel like
do you
they-
need
they-
one big bat guy? The Royals
That's
won
true,
the World
but I
Series
just-
in 2015.
yeah.
I only know that because I'm a Royals fan. They
They
had
did?
yeah. They didn't hit big. They didn't have a lot of big hits. They had a lot of singles, a
Yeah.
ton of stolen bases, more than like all the other teams in their division combined that season, something like that.
Yeah.
And the first at bat of the World Series was an inside the park home run, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
That sounds
about
about
off
right.
the Mets. Yeah.
Yeah, with the Mets. So that's not really a big hit. Like it kind of is, but the fielders have to
It
make
was
some
good,
mistake,
yeah.
and the guy has to be fast.
I get the Giants drop off. I just don't get the Phillies acceleration and
I
sudden
don't
success.
think the
I
Phillies
look.
will be able to.
They've had these like mediocre seasons. They're gonna break
just
through.
look
Okay?
at the
the
infield.
Padres
Like,
broke
what is
through.
there?
They have Reese Hoskins. I like him.
It's got to go to
He's
ESPN.
good.
Like, what's their shortstop again?
Didi Gregorius. But
Yeah,
here's what
He's
happens.
fine.
I think
That man's like freaking.
I really think the Phillies can sign Trevor Story. Okay. They need a
What?
shortstop. What do you mean what?
What
I
are
They
you
need a
talking
shortstop.
about?
Their payroll is low. They need.
They need and they never
shortstop.
get.
They
Bryce
just
Harper was the
shortstop.
last
They
get that they
signed Bryce
got.
Harper. They got JT Realmuto. It can definitely happen.
I really do not see Trevor Story going with the Phillies.
Where would
That
he
is-
go then?
There's so many other options.
Like who?
The Angels.
The
No,
Angels,
he
the
would
Mariners,
not.
any other team
No,
that
he
is
would
actually trying
not.
to push right now, that has money.
I need the Angels to sign a shortstop so that I can wear this jersey because I can't have Jose Rojas playing shortstop.
That's
And
not
then
gonna
me,
cut it.
Me wearing an 18 jersey with my name on it while number 18 is playing shortstop. That doesn't work.
I don't know. I definitely see the possibility of the Giants falling. Like, you're correct.
Yeah.
I didn't estimate it as much. I can definitely see that happening. But Philly's success, like, that infield is literally, like, non-existent. The outfield is literally just Bryce Harper and two buddies that he found. Like,
I don't
drinking
know.
buddies that he found.
Bryce and
Yeah.
friends.
Everything else is fine. It's just the infield is literally non-existent and the outfield is one man.
I'm
That's the
banking it
only
on the
things I
fact
can-
that they
I
sign.
can.
If they sign Trevor Story, they're gonna be there. I just think that's like definitely.
I don't know.
If
I see
they-
them definitely being.
If they make moves, they
Yeah.
could push, but I don't see them making those moves
Right.
based off their past couple of seasons.
I don't know, man. Like, Cardinals are for sure better than the Phillies. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
Yes, I have that as well.
Yeah. So
Okay,
I
we're,
can at least agree on that.
we're talking top players now, like top names, all of MLB, not just National League. I think
All of them will be okay.
Trevor Bauer,
Oh, all of MLB.
all of them.
These aren't rankings. These are just.
Oh,
These aren't
Hey,
rankings. These are
you
just.
can
players
rank them
right
if you
now.
want. This
Yeah.
is players to watch.
Okay.
That will be crazy probably. I can see Trevor Bauer having a good season if he
I
plays.
think you mean 2023.
I don't.
he needs an off
Does
year.
the MLB want to suspend him for a whole
Yes, they
a
definitely
whole
want to.
season?
I don't
Will
think
it
a whole.
happen?
I think they're gonna suspend him for like.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Aren't they going to some like weird like court thing when the lockout's over
Yeah.
to see if he's gonna get
Right, they'll
suspended by
negotiate.
MLB?
I think it'll be
They're
like
doing their
half
own
a season.
investigation.
I've heard that he can also sit down at the table and have a conversation with them and like debate over what they're willing to do and say like, hey, I was literally basically suspended for the entire second
Yeah,
half of the
he
season.
was.
So is like, can I just
So maybe
incorporate
he'll
that
argue
into my
for 1 year suspension, but that was the first half of the
right,
year, and
like
we'll-
something more fair.
I think
He'll
if
definitely
he
argue.
if he comes back, he'll be a big factor wherever he comes back, which will probably be not the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I don't think the Dodgers want his negative PR. I don't think many teams do. I think some teams would.
Some teams.
It's gonna
are
be the
desperate
desperate
for him.
teams that
I
need
think there are
pitching.
some
We'll take
desperate
you.
that are
teams.
okay.
Give us a Cy Young
Angels,
season.
I don't think are that desperate
Angels are not
in
that
terms of the
desperate.
PR.
The Angels, their whole business is PR. Like the Angels have been terrible since 2002.
I mean,
They
got
went
Mike
to
Trout.
they went to the
I don't
playoffs
think
and they
he
got
speaks.
swept by the Royals.
Mm-hmm.
So the Angels are not trying to win as their primary goal. They're trying to keep their 5 fans around. That's their primary goal. I'm one
Mike
of
Trout's
them.
mom and dad.
Mike Trout's mom
Jack,
and dad and
two
me.
other people.
Yeah. Shohei Ohtani, is he gonna have a crazy season next year?
No.
I
Not
think
crazy.
not pitching.
Good.
Pitching, I don't think he's gonna do that.
Pitching,
good. But I
yeah.
think he'll have compared to Trout, if he's healthy, he'll have a similar season. I think so.
He's going to have a great season, but it will not be.
It'll be overshadowed by
last
Trout.
Only
I don't
because
think he's gonna get overshadowed by Trout. I think Trout is gonna have to work to overshadow Shohei.
Yeah, I do
Okay.
as well, especially with
the injury season.
two-way player. It's
like
just
the
I still
strained
think he's gonna
calf.
be good.
seeing Shohei try this experiment for so long and only be successful like one of the years. I can't see him
Yeah.
just doing it back to back magically. So I definitely see a good season
the
coming,
future,
but
though, it could
not
happen.
not craziness like
There
we saw
are-
last year.
There have been some various factors though. Like he had Tommy John. His
Injury.
2020 ERA was like 35 because he threw one game
Yeah.
and he
And it
got
was terrible.
absolutely owned. So the question
Offensively, he's
is,
gonna be
now that
useless.
he's in a rhythm and he's not having Tommy John surgery and he's not injured, can he have a similar? I think he could have a similar season to the one he just had.
I guess.
I
but
don't see him
Especially at
having
the plate. I think he could have the exact same season at the plate.
at the plate.
While being a league
I
average.
think
Yeah.
if he's going to have the same of either plate or pitching, he's going to have to sacrifice the other a little
He-
bit to
Yeah.
give.
I think
equal the
he's
same.
sacrificing pitching. I think
Yeah,
that's
I
his-
see if he
Yeah.
sacrifices a little bit of time on pitching.
He'll be the
definitely have
DH
the same
on
offensive.
the Angels, definitely.
offensively.
So I think, yeah.
So I can see that happening.
I gotta be honest, I would have really liked to see Shohei Ohtani on teams with no DH, so old National League, because
Right.
I feel like he could have had way more impact
Dude,
if
yeah.
he hits when he pitches, because then the
Mhm.
other team, the pitcher is a free out in the National League, unless we institute
Unless it's
DH,
Shohei.
Yeah.
unless it's Shohei Ohtani. So that could give
Good
a
luck.
National League team a huge
That's
leg up.
scary.
And Shohei Ohtani could play in outfield during off games, which I don't know that it's super wise for him to play outfield every day that he's not pitching, but he could
Mhm.
certainly be in the outfield during tough games
Right.
or be a pinch hitter late in games.
Is it a DH rule where you're able to forfeit your DH and substitute the pitcher anyway? Or
What do you
is
mean?
I don't
is
think
that?
so.
'Cause I'm just wondering, is it possible for Shohei to just get overridden anyway and still be allowed to hit in the DH spot? In that rule, like, are you able to go up to the umpire and say, "This is my lineup,
Yes.
but instead of DH, I want my
Yeah.
pitcher to hit"? Anyway.
Angels do that.
They
They
do
did that
Okay.
this past season.
Okay.
DH is optional. It's optional DH, no matter where you are.
Right.
Teams can't decide to have mandatory DH in their stadium.
Okay.
So Shohei Ohtani, it creates some weird situations though, where you're at a huge disadvantage late in the game when Shohei comes out of pitching,
Right.
and you have to put him in the outfield
Yeah, if you still
Yeah.
want his bat.
if you still want him to hit and not like literally just
Yeah, you only
lose
get
the
his
game.
bat for as long as you get his pitching.
Yeah, which is kind of weird. So the strategy on that is still in development because he's had one crazy season. So now everyone's looking into the two-way players and like trying to strategize.
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
oh wait, Shohei Ohtani rule.
Yeah.
We need to make it a little
Yeah,
better.
just rename
Yeah,
that.
literally.
So Max Scherzer, will he have a good season?
I think so.
Yes.
I think.
You said you hope he has a career-ending injury, so I think you're hoping that he doesn't.
Oh my god.
I was just so
Dude.
high on Max Scherzer at the time, especially with the hype.
You heard the trade come through, and you're like,
Alright.
I hope he has a career-ending injury in the first week of the season. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about?
But he's definitely gonna go off. Maybe not Cy Young.
He won't be a Cy Young
No.
winner.
Not
He
yet.
might be a
not
candidate.
Cy Young potential.
Yeah.
But I definitely think he's gonna have a low 3 ERA and he's gonna dominate just like he has.
Yeah. I still think.
Especially with the Mets.
It's still crazy.
It's
The
another
Mets have a
team.
crazy rotation. It's him, DeGrom. As long as those guys don't
He
get
literally
injured,
just
they're gonna
went-
have a great pitching
He went to an
staff.
East Coast Dodgers.
Yeah.
He's literally gonna do
Facts.
the same thing and just perform well.
Yeah.
So I can still see him going off.
They were the Dodgers of old. They always like choked, you know.
Yeah.
But like
literally.
maybe they can turn around. We'll see.
Juan Soto, how much do you think he's gonna make?
A lot of money.
He's definitely gonna be one of the first players to make the amount
400
he's gonna make.
million. I think it
This
could be-
season, even though he's not free
Oh,
agent.
next
yet.
year?
When his
Next
big,
year.
when
This
his big
upcoming
deal
season.
hits, I think it's gonna.
When
be
he's a
400.
free agent, he's gonna make
400
a
million.
ridiculous amount of money.
Next
'cause
year-
he's so good.
I don't know. I can see him making like over 15 mil.
Yeah, what's
in ARB?
Yeah, what's the
If it's
arbitration?
an ARB year.
The max arbitration deal.
The max you can make an
20
ARB.
million right
The
now.
max you can make an ARB, he'll make that.
Yeah. Do you think he's gonna sign like the minimum contract length he can with the Mets?
Probably.
Or not the Mets, the Nats.
Yeah.
He's definitely going.
He's not
to,
committing to the Nats.
He's not going to commit until they're like, okay, we're willing
Yeah.
to literally give you the biggest contract in history. Then you'll be like, okay, I'm cool with staying here. Until that day,
Because he declined a 13-year
13.
contract.
It was like 325.
yeah, that's not enough for him.
It's not enough for him.
That's what I'm saying.
But
once they raise it to what,
They could-
400,
if they
near
give him-
500 million,
Does he want
That's
to win
crazy. Come
he's
on.
gonna be.
though? He
he's gonna
won a
win.
ring at 19, right? He was.
He was
He
he
did-
a rookie?
wait, yes, he did.
That was his rookie year,
Yeah.
right?
Bro.
So
It was the first year he came in,
That's
and we didn't have
crazy.
Bryce Harper there, and we were like.
24.
I
It was
feel-
funny
I
because
feel
Bryce
for
Harper
Bryce,
just
bro.
left, and then
Yeah.
they won a ring without him. It was,
Should have been. Was that his spot too?
it was right field.
Oh my God! How does that happen?
Juan Soto is just.
Yeah, Juan Soto came
he's
up because
just
Bryce
better.
left.
He is just
Mhm.
better.
Yeah. Juan Soto was
He had a
better than
crazy
Bryce.
minor league track. Like he spent like 3 days in Double-A or something. He just like.
Yeah, I remember
He
the
went
story.
into
He's a
Double-A.
live player
He
and I love the
absolutely
show.
raked, and the Nats are like, "Dude, you're absolutely raking."
Yeah.
Like normally players gotta hang out here, but you're just crazy.
I remember the story. He said that he got into the minors, and he didn't have a place to stay. And his coach was like, "Hey, we want you to have a place to stay, so that way you can be rested." And he said, "I'm not gonna be here for much longer, so you don't have that." And he was up in the majors like a few days later. So
It's absolutely ridiculous.
literally.
He's gonna be an all-time great. He is. If he keeps his track, he's going to be, like, the year he retires, he's gonna be in the Hall of Fame.
I hopefully on a good team. If he's on a bad team, you're gonna have a Calvin Johnson situation. Rotting on an awful
Mike Trout
team.
situation.
Mike Trout
another Mike Trout situation.
Speaking of that, Mike Trout is on my list right here.
Oh,
Let's
Mike
talk
Trout,
about
yeah.
Mike Trout. Will he win a playoff game this year?
Not with that broken pinky for the whole
This
season.
year?
Not with the strained calf. Will Mike Trout win a playoff game? Will the Angels make it to the playoffs?
Mike Trout
And will they
yeah.
win one playoff
Mike Trout
game?
will win a playoff game in his life.
Eventually, I don't think this year though.
Not this year?
It's not coming up
Not this year.
unless the Angels are able to.
I hope so.
If they push a little more in the offseason, they can get enough to be a wild card, in my opinion.
I think the Angels have enough to be a wild card as is.
They do.
with no
I just think to
injuries.
secure it.
If Syndergaard is healthy,
He's a question mark.
he's the biggest
He's the
question
biggest
mark on the
question,
Angels
yeah.
right now. If Mike Trout is healthy, he's another huge question mark. If Shohei Ohtani is healthy, I don't know if Shohei will be healthy because he's so tired all the time from playing every single game and pitching and hitting. He's a huge question
Just
mark. Will
carrying the
he get
team,
injured? Michael Lorenzen is a huge question mark because
Yeah.
he's had good hitting seasons and he's had crazy pitching seasons, but he's never had both at the same time.
Right. That's
Anthony
what
Rendon is a huge question mark. So
for being out for so
What
long.
was his deal? It was like
too much.
300.
He needed a big
Yeah.
surgery, right? It was like what?
I think
surgery?
so.
Something like that.
If he
Something-
doesn't perform,
something big where it's
Yeah,
most players
good
do
luck.
not come back too well from it.
Yeah. I
So
know.
he's a big question mark. If he can come back from it, then that's amazing. But we'll see.
Even if he comes back and he's mediocre, the other players on the team will be able to carry him if
Right.
they have good seasons.
the offense is there, but yeah, if Mike Trout comes back fully healthy, I see him producing another crazy All-Star year like he always does, and a crazy maybe even MVP year.
And Angels have some prospects that just came up this past season because of the injuries. We Martian Walsh.
I love Martian Wall.
Yeah.
Those guys are
Just love
crazy.
Martian.
They
Walsh
could be
is really
huge.
good.
They with
They
more
can take big
development,
leaps.
with an off season of development, they could have been greatest.
I think they
top
were
10
near
first
All-Star
baseman.
Maybe.
level, like near like
But
All-Star level.
there was not a real off season. I mean, it's an off season, but the teams weren't allowed to develop their players, so
It's independent. Alex Wood was posting his videos on Instagram for his coaches.
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be kind of rough to see. Did they take the right steps during the off season because they were
Right.
just completely alone? If they did, it'll be a huge season for the Angels.
I also think Joe Adele could have a good season.
I'm really high on Jordan.
He's
Yeah.
crazy. He's so
I
good.
know, yeah.
And then he smashed into the wall and
Yeah.
got injured for 2 weeks. That was really unfortunate. That made me so sad. I was, come on, man. There's 2 weeks left in the season. You got a 2-week
Dude, yeah.
injury.
I'm high on him. I hope he performs well.
Okay. Fernando Tatis Jr., not Senior.
Nah, Senior comes back,
Senior.
joins the Padres.
Fernando
Lot of-
Tatis Sr. is coming back to join his son to have
Yeah.
an all-star season. Will Tatis be as good as he was last year?
I think he will.
Last
The
year he had
question
like a
I have
260
is that
average.
shoulder.
So I don't. Yeah.
That shoulder really kept him back.
He had
Yeah.
I think not one but 2 of those like shoulder injuries,
Where
like
he was
sliding
yeah,
in the
he
bases.
heard it,
yeah.
came back,
Yeah.
and then heard it,
Yeah.
and they're like, okay.
If that's
We need to
if
watch
that's
this.
a theme in his career, then he's gonna have a lot
Right,
of
if
problems.
he pulls a Corey Seeger situation where you love him but he's just injured,
Yeah.
then that's going to be a big question mark.
I think
So-
they could fix his shoulder. Not fix. I think they could make his shoulder significantly better by telling him to not be as aggressive on the base paths.
Right, it's
But
definitely a
that's-
sacrifice of defense.
We just talked about how the Padres are huge with their marketing, like the whole
Mhm.
Tatis, like the hair
Yeah.
flip thing at the stadium. Stealing bases and extra base hits are huge
kinda-
parts. They're
yeah.
so exciting, and it's kind of a shame that they're not part of the 3 true
Mhm.
outcomes. So
He's definitely doing things to fix his swing. He's doing a 2-hand follow through instead of a 1-hand like he's done in the past. I think he's doing tiny things that when added up is definitely gonna like provide some caution around his shoulder.
and if the coaches don't
So-
tell him to steal or run the bases,
right. Just
then-
be more cautious.
Beat Ricky Henderson's career stealing record and have an all-time Barry Bonds season. Like you're
Yeah.
not gonna have both.
Right.
But yeah.
So
It could be.
I see him going off. I still see him.
Yeah.
If he can play consistently, that's the whole Padres question: is can you not fall off at the bottom of the season?
yeah.
Which is I don't know if he can do that, then definitely literally MVP can.
His MVP
contender.
season, that was great. It's not really realistic to have a season like that again, in consecutive years. Sure, you can have it again.
I
It's all
think
about
he could
innings.
have it. I think he could have another consecutive season. He's overhyped, but he's still insane.
He's overhyped, but
Yeah.
only to the point where he's still good, and then they expect
Yeah.
more from there. But he's still
He's
an
still
amazing player.
really good. He could have another crazy season. Let's talk about Corey Seager. He's going to the Rangers. Who's he
Sadly.
going with? Marcus
Simeon.
Yes.
Two
Will they
shortstops.
be the greatest middle infield of all time?
Of all time,
Of
no
all time.
way.
When
Compared
when
to
the Rangers made those deals,
middle
I
infield.
They
saw
thought they were
people
gonna
on Reddit being like, the Rangers are gonna have the all-time greatest middle infield in history.
In terms of fame or in terms of actual offensive production?
In terms of offensive and defensive, like actual playing. I mean,
Right.
they could be the most famous. I could see that.
I don't
No,
know.
I see.
I think Corey Seager
Derek
is kind of
Jeter.
a quiet guy. I don't think they'll be the most famous. Like
Corey Seager
No.
is famous. Like he's quiet, but he's pretty famous.
he's got a Mike Trout
Yeah.
energy to him.
Yeah,
Just consistently great, but doesn't really.
but not
do much.
really.
Mm,
I also think
everyone loves Mike Trout. If you own an Angels jersey, you own a Mike Trout jersey. Not me. I'm just an outlier
You're weird.
like that. I just
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, Corey Seager, he's gonna go off, no question about it. And I think, I don't know. I hope he stays healthy and isn't finally, always injured,
Yeah,
and
you
he
hope-
can have a clean season.
You hope for guys who've been with your team for so long. You hope they're healthy, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't think it'll boost the Rangers that much.
No, I see them winning 70.
Their best
at most.
pitcher is John Gray. Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
They're definitely trying to do something. There's no doubt about that.
just pull an Angels and draft 20 pitchers in the draft. Okay?
and still and have
Yeah.
none of them
And
are good.
still that, like,
None of them
20
are
straight,
good.
Yeah.
I don't really get it.
He's gonna go off. I believe in Corey Seager.
Will
He's
Max
one of the best
Muncie
shortstops
play first base?
Yes.
Yeah.
When? Not start of the season.
Who they have?
Although, this delayed season might help him out, but
Is he still injured? Is he still like out?
I
they
think
still
so.
think that he might not be ready.
That is horrible.
He
That
got
was
injured like
horrendous.
last 2 games of the season.
Bro, have
Come
you watched it?
on.
Like
I
it
felt
was,
physical
like,
pain watching
no.
that.
It makes you
I was-
cringe. Your arm's not supposed to bend in that direction.
Yeah. That was
Who hit him? It was
It was the last game of the season with the Brewers, I think.
yeah.
Some Brewer.
Yeah.
ran through first base.
It wasn't even
and
malicious. The
No,
guy
he-
was just getting to first base.
It was just a bad throw that Muncie was trying to grab, and the throw happened to be right in the baseline. So
Yeah.
trying to reach it, he lost his arm.
Yeah.
To someone else's body.
Jace Peterson. And
That's-
that was the last game of the season. That
It was the
sucks.
last game of the season.
That's really
I remember
super
that.
unfortunate.
That is sad.
So, Muncie will play first base, especially
I hope.
if Freddie Freeman
Yeah.
goes back to Atlanta. When? Definitely later in the season. Probably by All-Star break for sure.
Okay, let's talk about some labor disputes.
The actual stuff going on.
Yeah, the stuff that's actually going on that everyone's already talked about a million times. It's great. Well, do you guys think that the lockout's going to end prior to March 31st? I'm not asking will we miss games, because we're going to miss games at this point.
Mhm.
I'm like 99% sure we're going to miss games unless we do shortened spring training, but that happened during the 2020 season, and that was disastrous for the players. So I don't think that's going to happen.
It foreshadowed what's happening right now, pretty much.
Will the lockout end prior to March 31st?
March 31st is.
I believe
March
a
31st
long time.
is it's a month.
It's over a month.
Month and 10 days.
Especially
So-
when, I don't know, if they never tell the truth.
They said
but if they
Yeah.
actually meet every day, like they said they were, starting today. Today's supposed to be the first day they actually start doing
I
that.
doubt they did that.
If they
They
do,
We have an all-time
ESPN
President's Day.
notification.
Yeah.
Meeting was 2 minutes long, and they're never meeting again.
That could happen.
I feel like I see that,
that
every
could
single
very
day.
well happen, and they just lied to us. But if they consistently do what they said, I can see the lockout ending before March 31st, like without a doubt.
You would hope so.
By mid March.
Their last meeting was 15 minutes, okay? That means they just like sat down. Everyone was
Right.
like, "Oh yeah,
I've heard some optimistic.
give us
news.
more money." No, they just left. No,
I've heard some
I don't
optimistic
think
news,
it's-
like heads of both sides stayed another 20 minutes after the 15-minute like group
Hope so.
met.
Yeah.
So I've heard some optimistic things that say that or trend towards that the lockout would end hopefully soon.
Mhm.
That they're actually coming to an agreement and they're not as polarized as we've always heard.
I'd like the
Yeah.
Players Association to remain pretty. Like I know that they're millionaires and blah 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 blah. blah. The owners are billionaires, right?
Right, they're
They
just
have
trying to make
so
profit.
much money, and
This is a business.
every single labor dispute before this has ended with an owner's not necessarily win, but the owners have always come out more
An
favorably
advantage.
than the players.
Yes, in the CBA.
And this is a huge
the
opportunity
players.
for the players because the season's starting real soon, and the MLB. They said they lost money during the 2020 season, but
They definitely did. No one.
how much they lost
A lot.
is kind of questionable.
Right.
So, it's probably more on the MLB this upcoming season that the MLB needs the games to start, and not so much
Right.
the
I
players.
think they're more into dire need for this thing to happen.
So
This
I'd
season
like
to go.
the players to kind of reverse the precedent that the owners always win, because
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
bad.
Right.
For
I don't want
baseball.
them to give in. Right?
The
I want
owners-
them to fight for.
How long did the
Equal
owners
share.
like win those like agreements? Because I feel like the players had their grip on it for a little bit, and then it was the owners
the
for the
players
past
never
like,
really had a
recent-
huge grip on the labor disputes.
yeah.
1994 they missed. Was it 94?
94.
They missed a World Series.
Yeah.
No, that was yeah. The owners won more points than the
Mm.
players did in that one. The players got absolutely screwed during
Yeah.
the 2020 season. Like they got screwed. They lost all their salary. The MLB was pushing to shorten games, and there's nothing the players. Okay, we're back from the power outage again. Players got screwed over in the 2020 season.
Nice.
They lost so much money.
Yes.
They lost an opportunity to prove themselves, to make big contracts.
MLB wanted to literally give them like 30% of a prorated salary. Like, they
And
wanted
the
to give them
MLB
nothing.
wanted to play 0 games in 2020
Yes.
because then they wouldn't have to pay the players at
Yeah.
all, which is so stupid and evil
Yeah.
that I'd like
It's
the
a
players to
business.
win one.
It's a business. To
That's all it is to most of the owners.
Which
is
is fair
business.
enough. Like if I owned an MLB
Yeah.
team, I would be like, I'm trying to make a profit here. Like,
But for the fans who care about
Yeah.
baseball, it would be nice to see the people who play baseball win the dispute.
Baseball's been around for
Yes.
so long, and if you have this like garbage happening, you're gonna lose fans. You're gonna have the MLS be more popular than baseball.
I
This
don't-
is
the
America's
ML
pastime.
the MLS
Yeah.
will never be.
No, I'm just saying.
It's
Just
a big
saying.
exaggeration, but I
But yeah, it's I don't know. I it's really selfish, and these guys are multi-billionaires, and they gotta figure it out. Okay.
Are we still going to Arizona on the planned dates? Because spring training's not
The
happening.
planned dates? No.
What was it,
most
March
likely.
15th?
What will happen is Arizona will still happen no matter what, even if
Yeah.
we start the season in October. But what will happen?
September, yeah.
What will happen is we're just going to minimize the group to just like family and us.
Yeah.
And then we'll just schedule a week that we can all go.
Yeah.
Whenever that's available. So we'll go no matter what. It might not be the huge party group that I normally do, but we're definitely going if that's in April or whenever it needs to be.
April.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know when it will be.
That's horrendous.
I mean, technically,
That's a worst
at the
case
rate
scenario.
right now, we could still technically
That's
go.
not the worst case scenario. The lockout could last.
There could be no
yeah,
season.
yeah.
There
That's
could
the
be
worst
no
case
season.
scenario. But yeah, I mean, we're technically. It's not impossible as of right now for us to still go on the dates that we planned. Technically, not impossible.
Yeah, but right now spring training
but
is
it's not
canceled to
looking
March
like that.
5th.
Exactly. So
And their next
I-
meeting
it-
is
I
10
think
days.
If they don't
So,
like
we'll
meet in like I think a week is gone. So every day they don't meet, a week is gone.
Every
So-
day they don't meet, a week is
Well,
gone.
like, yeah, I read something.
Every
where
day
it's
they
like-
don't meet?
Yeah.
They need
It was the
a week
26th.
in advance to prepare,
Yeah.
so
A
every
week in
day they
advance,
don't.
yeah.
Okay, every day they don't meet is a week later. Spring training has to start.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay,
If they don't agree to a deal by the 18th, then I don't
let's
think it
say that the lockout does end on March 31st.
That day, okay.
We're missing games
will.
at this point, right?
Yeah.
Today is March 31st, and
That's over a month from
and
when
ESPN
pitchers were supposed to report.
yeah, ESPN tells me that the lockout is over. Or,
Yay!
Yay. Do they have to add spring training to the CBA?
Yeah, I think right because players need time.
And do they have
So-
to add shortened season salaries to the CBA?
You would think so, right?
So
because
the
it's not a full
question is,
season.
Does that mean that we miss more games? Like, if they come to an agreement on the CBA on March 31st,
And then now spring training.
spring
has to be
training is a
scheduled.
huge looming issue. What are we going to do for spring training? How are we going to pay the players? How much percent?
What's the absolute deadline? Like deadline at the very end of the season.
That will come out. Deadline end
like
of the season?
yeah, end of the season. Because I don't think you can push it back into like November. Well, it already is in November. So like
Season
late
normally
November.
ends
Like
what?
early November, right?
End of.
So yeah.
Oh,
th-
playoffs?
Playoffs,
Yeah, playoffs,
ends
like every
mid-November.
Playoff ends-
Yeah, November.
Mid-early November.
They've gone sometimes towards the end of November, but
Yeah.
yeah.
You might have to go back to that if you want a full season.
Yeah, I remember.
That'd be
I
cool.
remember some playoffs with the Dodgers, maybe 2018, but going to like November 30th, like really,
That'd
late,
be-
really late.
That'd be
November.
kind of cool.
And
that'd
that was
be
just how it
different.
was with no disagreement. So
Yeah.
it could go to December.
That would be
We'd
fun.
have to push it
I
back.
would thoroughly enjoy a season
would
that went
love-
late December.
I
That would be
love
so
Christmas
sick.
baseball.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Christmas, like
You wouldn't be
imagine
able to do
waking
it.
up and watching the division series.
It'd be
on
really
Christmas morning.
unfortunate
The
if the Red
players would hate
Sox
it,
made the
but it'd
playoff
be cool.
because then you can't even play on that field. But yeah, I would love that. Some
It's like
Christmas
snowing
baseball.
in Fenway.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to play on that field. Fenway would be canceled. So
So if they have to add spring training and stuff to the CBA, that would mean that we miss more games. Like,
more debate.
We come to March 31st. It's like we've decided on all the basic stuff, but now we're going to
But
keep
now
the
we're off.
lockout going.
Yeah, now we're off
because we gotta-
schedule because we need to figure this out.
That sucks. Okay, that's all the. Let's talk about one more thing this episode, just because it's kind of recent news and it'll fade into oblivion really fast. Let's talk about Vanderbilt University. They had smartwatches on, not smartwatches, but basically
watches,
smartwatches. And they had little numbers on them. And the coach presses the button, and a number comes up, and all 9 players on the field have it, and they can see the pitch. The coach calls the pitches, and it shows up on their watch.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a huge debate going on right now. Is this good? Is this bad? What happens if the pitcher doesn't want to throw a curveball down and away? Does he shake to the coach, and then the coach sends out a new number?
Yeah, seeing how it works like that, I don't know. If I was to use that technology, I would, if it was possible, orient it in the way where the pitcher decides,
Yeah.
and then that gets sent out.
Yeah.
Because the coach has no right over. I mean, unless he
Coaches
feels like
have
he does.
been
but
calling college baseball. Coaches have been calling the pitches for college baseball, but they haven't been using it electronically, and a lot of people hate that you can't steal the signs now.
what's the what was the current or the previous situation when a player didn't want to do what the coach said without the watch?
I'm pretty sure
Like,
they
what
would
went
just
on?
shake to the coach, and the coach would call a new.
I mean, if that's how
It's
they're gonna do it, then I would
a
assume
little bit
that
different.
same for watch. You'd probably just shake, and the coach would send out a new one. If that's how they're gonna do it with watches now.
So the question becomes: is sign stealing a part of baseball? Not with tech, like if you have a runner on second, the runner can look into the catcher's and see what the catcher's doing. He goes
Right.
2 up, and that means we're throwing a curveball up and in or whatever.
Right.
That's stupid pitch call. You don't throw a curveball up and in. But the catcher could call that, and then the
Right.
runner on second would see that, and then he'd be able to communicate it in some way,
Mm-hmm.
and that's legal.
Yeah, that's totally.
Because there's no way to prevent that. There's literally zero way to prevent that. But if you have watches, you can't steal the signs.
Yeah.
So is sign stealing a part of baseball?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
like
think
it's
so.
a built-in.
Definitely.
Should it remain part of baseball? If it is.
It
Yeah, in terms of
should,
that,
but I don't think it
I
will.
agree with the stance that technology should not be involved with on-field activity.
A lot of people
Technology
have
has a space, but it's not on the field.
It
It's
shouldn't be
outside the field.
dependent
It's
on that.
practice. You practice.
Right,
with
you
yeah,
can watch as
when I
much film
play
as
it
you
with-
want, whatever you need for technology. But
Yeah.
in terms of the moment it stops is exactly when you step foot on the field and it becomes competitive. That's when technology stops. In my opinion.
And so a lot of people are saying that what the Astros did is equivalent to what Vanderbilt University is doing with technology. They say technology should not be part of baseball, and thus sending out signs electronically and denying the other team the opportunity to look at film and interpret catcher signs and sequences is the same as using a camera to steal signs.
Is Vanderbilt just using it, or is like all of college baseball using it?
So it's legal in all of college baseball.
Okay, but it wasn't legal during the 2017.
It has not been legal.
Yeah, it still
ever
is
before.
not legal.
It's legal this season. This is the first season
They
it's
just-
ever been legal,
Yeah.
which is why they're using it for the first time.
If it's
I don't
legal,
know.
there shouldn't be a problem with it. But
I don't see a correlation.
The big question is, should it be legal?
I don't see it
It's
wise.
it can be used as a tool if you use it solely in the games to rely on it. You're like, oh, yep, that's what we need to do. I just don't like. I feel like that like kind of takes away and like kind of disgraces baseball. You know.
I feel like if you accept technology into baseball, the line will get too blurry.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it will be too confusing on what is okay and what isn't, and it's
Yeah.
a better decision to just
like
completely
Robo.
not have it in there, so that way you never have to deal with what is okay and what is not, because the line gets too blurry and you can disagree with people on what actually is acceptable and what isn't.
so does that apply to all technology in baseball?
Yes, all on field technology. Like there should be no technology on the field during
Does a
game, like live
replay
game.
room count?
Yeah,
No, it's off the field.
But it
That's off the field.
it's
True.
technically
That is
off
not
the
a
field,
player's
but
association with
still.
technology.
Yeah.
Your
okay,
coach can
it's
have as much
players.
technology as you want.
So your problem's with the players.
My
I
problem
count
is
the
with the
dugout
player.
as part of the field.
I consider the player the active person who has involvement with the game.
Is a trash can a piece of technology?
No.
So
You could bang the trash can all you want.
So people in the
Yeah.
replay room looking at footage and then banging a trash can and the players hearing it is not.
I think it is.
So you're telling me the replay would get the
Because it's
thing
a
and then
substitute
run
for
over?
that.
No, the replay room has a trash can.
Because I'm saying no player should touch technology, so no player can.
No
deal
player's
with that.
touching the technology. Replay room guy has a trash can and he sees the catcher call a sign and he just smacks the trash can lid against the wall. Player's not using technology,
The replay room
but he's
sadly
hearing
is
them.
not close enough to the
Okay,
game for
okay.
that to happen.
The coach has a trash can and the replay room guy has a trash can. So replay room guy smacks the trash can and the coach hears it and then he smacks the trash can.
No one would hear it because I've seen an MLB stadium and the replay room is like far off where the locker
Okay,
room is.
the
You
coach is
wouldn't
on the
hear it.
phone.
Okay, so, but you wouldn't ever get a replay challenge unless there's a challenge. Like you wouldn't ever see a sign steal, and then have him call the phone. Like that's only for challenges, right?
Well, what if he's on the phone? Like, what
So
if
he
he's
calls
having a
the
nice-
replay
What if
room?
he's having a nice chat with his boy the whole inning?
In the
It's
replay
like,
room.
you have the
Do-do-do.
sign
Bang, bang, bang.
sign stealing coach in the dugout. It's a curveball coming and then he smacks the trash can. Is that the line's already plenty blurry? I think.
Yeah,
No,
that's
I
true.
think there's a simple way to solve that. in my opinion, and that's just make some barriers between replay. Once you start giving the players technology, the line gets too blurry.
Yeah.
I think the line's already blurry. I think that I don't know about the watches.
I think a simple few questions and some regulations could solve.
It's like the pine tar thing. Just make sure that.
I mean, we already have a replay room in MLB.
Yeah.
We already have phones, and no one bangs any trash cans as of now. And I'm assuming that they have something in play. Allegedly. So I'm assuming they have nothing in play. They have something in play to prevent that, which means the issue is solved by MLB. Yeah. That, or they're all just on good morals and nothing's in the way right now. I don't know.
That's not the case.
But I'm assuming something is in the way, in which case that is just, it's already made. And the line is no longer blurry because the issue is solved. And we already established that, signs can't be stolen with that because we don't have technology on the players. And there's a discommunication between the replay room and constant communication with the coaches and players.
That makes sense.
So I believe the issue is solved. I haven't dug deep into the replay room coach communication, but I'm assuming that that's been solved since MLB Baseball actually continues without this happening as an issue, which means that issue's solved, and the only thing that might interfere with sign stealing as being a blurry issue would be putting technology onto the field. Yeah. Giving the players technology.
I think at least at minor league baseball and major league baseball levels, the watches need to stay out. I think it's fine in college. College is kind of a weird environment where people are still trying to be good, but it's not quite as competitive as minor league baseball. I think if you're really good, you just go straight out of high school. So college is kind of in a weird, where it's like maybe it's fine in college.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want with
if you're really good,
technology and experimenting with that. In my opinion,
it's
I
been
just
an
see
hour
it as a fairity of the game
already,
and 12 minutes. So I think we're gonna close this episode out here. We still have a whole nother episode to do, but I'm gonna take a break and write stuff all over that whiteboard.
Yeah, can you redo that?
For episode 2, so that we know what to talk about. And I'm gonna finish off this episode by saying that Albert Pujols using the bullpen phone is an example of on-field technology and should not be allowed. Goodbye.
I'll call that fair enough.